Right, in a previous video, we looked at these two spinners and we spun them, and whatever came up, we added the results to find out what the sum was. And we did this sample space here where we found it a lot easier to find all the outcomes that were available. So from this, we're going to actually work out the probability of getting each score. So we're going to use the table here, and I'm actually going to use the same denominator each time, so the same bottom number of a fraction. There's a reason for that. It makes stuff a bit easier later on. So how many 2's can we see in the table in yellow? Okay, well, we've got 1 2, so that's 1 out of a total of 4 by 4 is 16. So probability of scoring 2 is just 1/16. Now, if I look at 3, 1 2, 2/16. Now, don't be tempted at this stage to simplify it. I know that would go down to an eighth, but actually later on when we ask a couple more questions about this that you probably see on tests, you'll find it's easier when they've got all the same denominator. 4, we've got 3/16. 5, 1 2 3 4/16. Again, don't be tempted to simplify that down to a quarter. 6 is 1 2 3/16, and you're probably noticing a pattern. 1 2 3 4 3. Let's just check. Two 7's in there, so 2/16 and 1 8. 1 8, so that's 1/16 there. Now, the sorts of questions we could be asked would be, and I'll do these questions, what would be the probability of scoring, shall we say, a 5? Probability of scoring 5 would be 4/16. Now, at this stage, if that's a question, I would simplify that down to 1/4. But why we don't simplify in this table here is because what's the probability of scoring 3 or 4? Now, 3 or 4, the probability of scoring 3 is 2/16. And the probability of scoring 4 is 3/16. Now, when you see the word or in a probability question, you're going to add up the probabilities. Now, because the denominators are the same, it's really easy to add these up. We end up with 5/16 in total, which can't be simplified. Now, the other sort of question, the final sort of question, the probability of scoring greater than, you might see that sign, greater than, say, 6, all right? We've got 7 and 8 are greater than 6, so we've got 2/16 and 1/16. All right, so that makes a total of 3/16. So you just make sure you read the question carefully. All right, don't simplify in this case, simplify at the end, and because they're not simplified in here, it makes it a lot easier to add up certain probabilities. Now, the last thing we've got to do is just check that we've got all the right answers. Now, these should all add up to 1. Basically, it's certain that we're going to get a score between 2 and 8, isn't it? And when we do certain and impossible, certain, the probability of certain is 1. So we've got 1, 3, 6, 10, 13, 15, 16. So if I add all them up, it comes to 16/16, and 16/16 is a whole. So our little check can be add all these up and make sure they come to 1.
Okay, Mary, so let's have a look at this one. So solve x plus 2x equals 12. So what do you think you do first?
Okay, well, I want x on its own, so I would put x equals 12 minus 2x.
Okay, so a lot of the time we want to get x by itself, but what we want to do first is get all of these x's together. So can you see anything we can do with this? Get all these together in one place.
Oh, okay, it's 3x, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
3x equals 12. Oh, and so x equals 4.
Brilliant, spot on, well done.